Hi. So today is all about, I suppose, everyday magic and what's been going on generally. So I'm just about to head into 2 weeks of leave. So yesterday was Thursday, worked from home the day before, so a little bit quieter, a little bit less tiring. And when I finished my day, I cleared my desk. I put everything from work away. I lit some incense and I lit a little tea light, and then I smudged the room, and then I kind of just let everything settle overnight. And this morning I cleaned the desk, and it's like that's put away the last of the work things, and here we are ready. And I'm going to use this time. The first bit is for some really fun stuff, one of which is doing a big tarot spread. But I will more explore these things after I've done them rather than before. Which leads me on to my recent thing, and something that I wanted to share is I say again and again to myself and to other people sometimes, it's that it's not the thing itself, but it's the effect of the thing. And by noticing and picking up on kind of synchronicities and so on, I kind of notice that that's true more and more. So on Monday night, I went to a poetry thing, and it's been going on for a long time, but it's never been on a day when I could go. And this time it was on a day that I knew I could go. It's in a different area. And I was working there that day, so I knew I'd be able to go. So I booked a hotel and, made an arrangement with a person, committed to it, had that first flurry of enthusiasm, and then, what have I done? Am I too scared to do it? So I go and do it, and I do a poem that is about some very complicated feelings and very kind of specific feelings that I suppose I'm realising more and more. It could be likely that one person in the room has experienced that or knows somebody who has, but it's reasonably not that well talked about. So it's kind of was a line in it that's puncture the shame, and it's partly about puncturing the shame, not just for myself but for other people. So I deliver this poem, and I felt really good. We'd gone to a new to us charity shop a few days before, and I'd thought, I wonder if I can get an outfit for this thing. And I walk in, and there hanging up is an outfit, a kind of vintage looking kind of long cream slip, vintage looking black lacy kind of t-shirt shaped top, and then a velvet jacket with embroidery. And I actually had the velvet jacket with embroidery at home anyway, similar one. And so I bought the other two things, and she hadn't put them together as an outfit at all. Excuse me. They were just hanging up waiting to be priced. So I bought those, washed them, wore them to this thing, felt good. And my friend came with me, and the place was all lovely. It was all lit with fairy lights, and I did the poem, and it was kind of almost memorised, just looked down now and again. And as I was doing it, I could feel the emotion shaking through my legs. And I could have thought it was fear of being on stage, and maybe it was a little bit of that, but I think it was a lot of the emotion of it. And I looked at people's faces, and I could see that they could feel something. And a couple of people gave positive comments, and they'd felt something. And that was good. That was all good. The finding the clothes, the having the attention to look out and to find this place, the motivation, the bravery to do it, the commitment to actually go through with it. All of that is good. And then the next day I wake up, I'm in a hotel room. It's a bit luxurious for me. Luxurious feeling, not a luxurious hotel, but a luxurious feeling. And I wake up and make a cup of tea, and then think, oh, I'll drink my tea in bed. And so I go on Instagram and then I go on the news, and there's this news article. It's the front page, and it's exactly about what all these feelings are about. And yeah, obviously that's brings up feelings, and I bring up feelings for the other person, which is, the person in my situation, and think about them and how they would be feeling, and think about the other person, think, oh, it's not fair. And then I just think, well, yeah, you just let it go. You can't, everybody is just feeling their own things, and they've got a right to feel them, and just as I have. And it just reminded me once again of the line that's in the poem: you can't have that life and this. And this life is a person who is confident, a person who is making art, a person who is following the signs and synchronicities that they see around them, picking up on those things. And the next day there was another story, exactly the same thing, but this time I didn't open it. And for me, it's about deciding, again, a line from the poem, deciding to save myself. And the alternative to that is, well, obviously suicide. But if not, a kind of a Walking Dead type thing, where you're just getting up to work, paying the mortgage, beating yourself up the whole time, trying to do something, maybe trying to assist if you have any opportunity to, but in the experience of the past, that didn't do any good, and in fact even actually made things worse in terms of whether it helped the other person or not. And so yeah, I decided to save myself, and the other person is also okay. So yeah, and it's just accepting that you're walking around. And I saw this quote the other day from this kind of punk guru, well, like a punk spiritual, yeah, I'm not following any gurus, a punk kind of spiritual person on Instagram, and talking about he's a lot younger than me, and his advice was, instead of making, that the idea of the kind of spiritual integration is to make trauma rather than your whole identity, like a wound that you carry. And this has happened for me. It's it's an ongoing wound. And but yeah, like the mental health recovery model, I do live in spite of it. And yeah, maybe it is a counterbalance, and maybe I wouldn't be living like this without it, in this way that I'm enjoying in terms of creativity. Yeah, so that was that, the effect of the thing. But yeah, it's looking at something enough to keep growing, or to keep moving, rather than to tear open a wound so that there's blood everywhere, and to go right down. So another thing that was interesting was, the other night I went to creative writing, and the topic was all about kind of unexplained events, and I thought it was going to be about ghosts and stuff, and then I was thinking, well, I'm not kind of going to be that interested in that, or maybe it'll be a bit spooky for me. And but actually it was all about the kinds of things that are totally kind of normal to me. Well, not totally normal, but it talked about doppelgangers, and I mean, that's not totally normal to me, but it's something it wasn't so much ghosts as, so doppelgangers, seeing yourself in the future or the past. I've definitely had sort of some experiences a little bit like that, having premonitions or visions of yourself in the future or the past. And yeah, just those sort of quirky changes of reality, and just noticing things. And yeah, it was interesting. It was interesting that I didn't find it spooky, and it was interesting that it brought up a lot of just a lot of things that had happened. And even just that day, walking along just prior to class, my husband had mentioned two things, and they had appeared. And yeah, just like that. And an object that I bought recently was this, and I bought it for this event, which is, I don't know, I thought space, and well, balls are definitely part of it. I don't know about space, but kind of psychedelia and stuff. Anyway, it's 50p, so I bought it, and it's actually a money box, and then it's one that's got a hole at the bottom, and it just made me wonder. Oh, I wonder what I could put in that. And I, in the past, I've had like a gratitude jar, you know, you write, or a jar where a happy. I think it was, I called it like a happy jar or something, and we wrote down on little slips of funny or nice things that had happened, and then at the end of the year we'd open it, and it was more something that did with kids. But yeah, that was really, really nice, you know, like really funny thing that the cat did, or a funny little thing. But I thought, yeah, I wonder about writing, you know, synchronicities and everyday magic down, because I do keep notes and I do write things down. I wrote things down about the news articles, and I wrote loads at the creative writing. I wrote about the little conjuring thing that had happened, and I wrote about some other things from the past that I remembered. And yeah, it's just happening kind of more and more. And it would be nice to capture. And like in the hotel, as I walked out down the corridor, there was some pictures, and they were the same pictures of kind of a recent book cover. Well, not exactly the same, but the same style. And I'd been thinking a lot about gold, and the gold, the ice skater who won gold, and her gold dress, their gold dress, sorry. And yeah, and then I'd seen on Instagram someone in a gold dress talking, and it was just, and I'd felt like, I really want to buy a gold ring and have that as a reminder of another thing that I saw on Instagram, which was, yeah, don't follow gurus. You know, you already know. And I've already kind of been through that sort of experience with not following, but reading Krishnamurti, who says, you know, you listen to yourself, you know, don't listen to anybody else. And you know, he was going to be leader of a spiritual organization, and he decided not to do it and said people should follow themselves. Was still a teacher to people, but it was listening to yourself. And this thing that I saw on Instagram was saying that you know what to do. You pause, and you listen to three things that you have in you, and these three things are your intuition, your values, and your nervous system. And that really, 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 really works for me. Yeah, really works for me. And but it's enabling that little pause. We can often be so rushed. Oh, do you want this? Do you want to do this? And you don't have time. It's like, pause for a minute. Hold on. Let me think for a sec. And I thought, oh, maybe, you know, I moved my rings around to make a space. Maybe I'll get a gold ring. And I was thinking about gold, and I'd been really attracted to these sort of gold placemats in the charity shop, which I didn't get, but they were really good. And this shop that's actually painted gold, and then I saw these pictures in the corridor just as I was checking out of the hotel the night after the performance, poetry, and I looked down and I realised that my shoes have even got some gold in them, sort of kind of yellowy gold, but in the soles of my new Skechers that I'd worn. Yeah, everyday magic. And another thing, yeah, just near the KFC, there was a billboard, and something attracted me to look over that, whether it was seeing if a bus was coming that way or whatever. But I looked, and it's, you know, it's the dark underpass of the bus station, wouldn't normally look down there. And there was a billboard, and it said, "The power is in your hands." And I thought, oh yeah, and it reminded me to do some more healing. And then it reminded me also that the picture behind me, the one of the girl connected to nature and all the power coming out of her hands, it reminded me, oh yeah, that's like that picture. Just like the other picture is the person emerging from the primordial soup, kind of terrifying and awesome. And yeah, it reminded me about that. And it was just things and ideas that I'd been thinking about anyway, and then seeing. And that just reminds me of one more thing called street wisdom, which is, you know, you have a question and you go out for a walk and you kind of look for signs. And I do believe that all of the things are already there. I don't believe that I've put them there. I believe that, you know, that they're they don't appear because I've wanted them to appear or thinking about them. I believe that all the things are already there, the billboard notices and the flowers and it's just that you notice them, or you notice them at just the moment that they appear, because sometimes, like a billboard, it might change, or might change just week by week, or it might change after a few seconds if it's an electronic one. So, or you see a light in the window or a shadow on the wall and it changes immediately. Or like the time I often talk about where I saw a mouse on a branch, and it was only just for a split second because of my reverse lights shining on a branch as I was parking. So yeah, may never see a mouse on a branch again, and that's okay, but there's plenty of other things. See you next time. Bye.